Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy P Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab. What I do for you. I'm out here in the book again. This is the cover page. The contributions, the Nile Valley contribution to civilization. This is a whole wealth of information that you can't find in no college courses, nowhere. Only can get it here with your boys. So I'm gonna break it down for you real nice. We about to do what we know as the ritual of the weighing of the heart or the soul, they call it. But it's a good message here, good lesson. Let's go. I'm teaching now. This is all stuff from I learned over 27 years ago that I've got a chance to bring it to you. It's good information. I call it useful information, not just information, useful information. Let's go. Writer's 25 rule to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and I'm on it, is to get all right thinkers to know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? When I'm through, that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Maya be true. We're in the book. And on the wall here, you see how pristine that wall looked? That's the wall of Pharaoh Unos. Okay, this was done back in inscription from circa 2465 BCE, and this is the writing on the wall and the tombs inscription. Now I'm gonna give you the breakdown. Right thinkers. Oh, sorry. Let's talk about the ritual, the weighing of the soul. There's a good story here about creation and the first man, so forth and so on. Let's talk about it. This is one of my favorite stories, so I'll take my time and try to break it down for you so you can hope you understand. There are a number of significant religious references which have emerged from what they call the Book of Coming Forth by Day. And these are the philosophy from our ancient ancestors. And if you're Christian, some of these are going to sound pretty familiar. Just getting the heads up. Oh, we're gonna break down. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Shotgun time. Time to tell the truth. Let's go. The concept of heaven is not from the Christian concept. We had that originally. Started with us. The soul of man going to heaven. Yep, us. I say us, the commission. Sorry, I mean black people. Okay, another one. But the soul of man sitting on a throne by the side of God. What do y'all say Christ sit? Jesus sits at the what? The right hand of the Father. That concept, we gave y'all that one because why? Haru does that too. Well, he did it first. He's original. And y'all can't argue. We didn't steal no ideas from the Egyptians. We didn't take none of. You took everything from them. Some from the Christians, some from the Greeks, some from the Romans. Y'all got a little bit of everything, but ain't none of it authentic. So that's my point. I don't need religion. I got my ancient ancestors' philosophical points of view that I can live by. And here's another one: the heavenly blessed eating from the tree of life. Again, the sycamore with new in there, nourishing us with knowledge and understanding. That's our concept. Again, out of commit. God molding man out of clay. See that right there? God called Kunam. Okay? See the ram head and horns up top? That was him on a what? They call the potter's wheel. That's where I got the man, God blowing breath into the nostril. That's where that comes from. We did that too. Okay? The concept, again, that's what this is all on. These are the concept, theological, philosophical principles. The concept of creation through what? The spoken word. A self-created God. Our philosophy. Okay? Ptah uttered himself into existence. Ra came out of the noon. Let there be me. Light. Amun. Y'all say amen at the end of the prayer. That's the hidden one, the concealed one, and the sun. When we see him, he's still the sun when he goes down, but he's hidden to us. So all this is conception, is symbolical philosophy that our ancients had laid out, and it worked like a charm. Why we stop doing that? Somebody had other plans and other things they wanted for us, and that's where we are right now. How about this one? Here's a good one. Moral concepts of good and evil. That's my yacht. You have to know good from evil to make a good decision. Based on you want to choose bad, you want to do evil, you can do evil, your choice. But there's some consequences that come with that. It's karma. You want to do good, you do good, you get good results. Again, karma works both ways. She don't pick and choose. You just do what she do. It's a function. These are all functions from God. They don't have no identity. They don't have nothing except the function. They play their roles. And that's what they're all about. Learning how to use them to your benefit. That's what the whole idea of it. And with the headgear, I tell you, it's all mental. So the gift that you wear from that animal, like Ra, he wears the falcon head. Haru, the spirit that's in you, the falcon head. Okay? Tahuti, ibis head. Anything that got to do with the intellect and knowledge, it's the bird brain. Conceptually. And here go the best one right here. Traditions of hell and hellfire. Us. When you go into the afterlife in the underworld, there's some places you're going to go that be problem getting through. Okay? If you don't know how to navigate your way through the underworld, you can have problems. That's what Anubis was there. Anpu was there to help guide you through the parts of the underworld. But here we go with the weighing of the heart scene. It's 5 different breakdowns. You see him first coming in. He coming in. That's Aset and the halls of Mayat. That's Aset and that. They're bringing him in. Okay. They're gonna break down what that means. This is all telling the story. Okay. You look at it. This is pictogram. He comes in. His heart goes on the scale. You got Haru and Anubis making sure the scales is right. Haru gonna take you to the Father who sits on the throne back here. But during the time, you see that ibis-headed bird. That's Tahuti. He's keeping records he described. Anubis is right here, making sure the scales is right. This is Ahmet. If your heart heavy in the scale, then the feather Mayat, Ahmet gets to eat you. You see Asar sitting on his throne. This is the life. These are his 4 grandkids. But they're the sons of his son. So they make him his grandkids, 4 of them. They got their own story. I did give you that too before. This is all good stuff. So let me break it down for you again. He got him funny. I like the cartoon way he got it. But this is old stuff. I'm used to my other man's way of doing things, but this is just as good. So let me tell you a story about, first of all, one of the most ancient or the most celebrated Netshuru, and all that's God. And all Kemet was Asar. A-U-S-A-R. Some people just say the A-S-A-R, but it's the A-U, Asar, who is commonly known by the Greeks, named Osiris. Everybody knows about Osiris, okay. It has been written that at the time of his birth, let me see if this sounds familiar to anybody, a voice was heard to proclaim that the Lord of creation was born. That's my son to whom I'm proud. You heard that story yet? We did it first, okay? But the story of Asar is long and quite involved. It's the best story known to man. Why? This man's story of life. It's our story, your story. Okay? I keep saying the Haru, the spirit of me and you. That's because we filtered down from Asar. Y'all call him Adam. No, Asar, the first man, from spirit into matter, human beings. He is recognized as a great mythical king of Kemet who brought the civilization to his people and established what they call the code of laws and instructions, followed by what? Practiced by Mayat for the worship of God, the divine. He ruled Kemet along with his wife, Aset, wife, sister, they call it, who is better known again by the Greek name Isis. Heard of that? Yeah, that's her. And every time they don't understand the ancient Egyptians, we use the names to signify certain things, and symbolically it meant something. You can't change the name and keep the symbolism. It don't work that way. What y'all call Isis, we call Aset. As. A-S-T. For a reason, a purpose. It's all etymology that they break down. But the Greeks came in and renamed everything to their likings. So when you hear me say Kemet, that's before the Greeks. They came in and changed the story of Asar to Osiris. See where I'm going with that? So I want to get that out the way. And every time you got to say something, the Greeks name, everybody know everything from the Greeks. Y'all started civilization. Somewhere they think y'all did, but no, we did. And they took everything we taught them and twisted and made it theirs. Okay. But now, according to the legend, Asar was slain, this is a favorite story, by his cunning and evil brother Set, which represents your ego. These are the 5 kids from God. Nut, Geb, and Nut. Asar, Haru, that's you in full blown, grown. Set, evil brother. Aset, and Nephet, the twin sisters, okay? And they all signify certain things. They all have purpose and aspects that they all have their own identity, their own stories, okay? We made stories up about them to teach about them. That's the concept. But you know, his brother Set represents the eagle. I talk about him all the time. Y'all call the eagle now, y'all call him the devil, Satan. No, it's you. Ego is you. So the story goes, his brother cut him up, his body, into 14 pieces. After selling him in a coffin, throwing it in the Nile River, and it drifted down, and his wife went and found him, brought him back, put him back in the swamp area. And Set went and found him again. He killed him twice. So the idea died twice. The story takes care of that too. What? The first time he took the body, killed the body. Second time, he gonna cut the body up into different pieces so they can't rejoin again and go out to the afterlife. He would stop it from reaching the afterlife. The body had to be intact. So 14 pieces. The moon takes 14 days to wax and wane. It goes full, then it goes back. That's the concept about Asar being cut in 14 pieces, but they only found 13. Bad luck. Why? The part that's missing, the penis. Okay? Egyptians don't eat catfish to this day. Why? Because the catfish is one supposed to eat Asar's penis. So symbolically, they don't eat catfish. I don't eat catfish because it has a menstrual cycle. That's a fish that's too human for me. It's another story. But okay, I understand that. But the story goes 14 pieces scattered around and all through Kemet. Some say Kemet, some say 72 pieces, some say 28 pieces, depending on who tells the story and what story they got. But I got a few different stories. I got an adult story that I was going to do a late night show. If I was going to do it after hours show, I was going to give you Egypt X-rated, the adult version. Okay, so yeah, I had that all lined up. But throughout Kemet, he put the parts. Now, after a long search, Aset, the dutiful wife, she found all the parts of her husband's body except the phallus, which, as legend has it, the story goes, was consumed by the catfish. Again, when it was discarded into the Nile River. Aset recreated the missing member. What you mean she recreated? She created a stars in the form of a techno. They call it obelisk. The big things that you see, the obelisk, they call it the penis of Asar. Y'all know it better as dildos, artificial penises. They're all over the place now, ain't they? When The Romans came in, the Greeks came in and seen all the, them artificial penises. They freaked out. They seen men with the big penis. They didn't know how to deal with that. All right, so they got a little squeamish. But the technique, which we know as the obelisk, was supposed to be a representation of Asar's penis, so she'd already remember, and which later became a symbol representing the what? Resurrection of Asar. In the morning, everybody rise. Okay, that's the resurrection. But in every day, sunrise, we rise. Okay, this is all nature, all symbolical, but it manifests when you manifest it by practicing it and emulating it, and it can manifest to be into your own life. Aset was without child. The story goes, they was brother and sister, they got married, but before they could consummate the marriage, Set, her brother, threw a big fancy party, but didn't invite her because his intention was to kill his brother, and he did. 72 conspirators threw him in the coffin, made simply for him, fit perfect, murdered him. So they never consummated the marriage. So Set is without child. So he murdered Asar on the night before they can do their thing, and it means a certain powerful word given to her by the Netzer Tahuti, God's mind, thoughts. Okay, the ibis head bird, who represents the divine articulation. He's God's mind. He's God's messenger. He's our thought process. He's the mind of us. That's the concept of the ibis-headed bird, because his articulation is speech, and he convinced the child in articulation speech. Aset resurrected her slain husband with the help of him and his magic words. But shortly thereafter, Aset conceived a child upon being what? Immaculately impregnated by what? The spirit of her husband. The spirit, not the palace, because she made a phony one, a fake one, the artificial, but the spirit gave life to that's the concept. So when y'all try to make it literal, that's what the Christians got this thing messed up. There was no sexual act. There was not. It was a spiritual transformation that generated life. You have spirit, you got wisdom. They come together. The offspring is aspirants. We are aspirants. Our spiritual aspirants. We got potential to be whatever and however we want to be. Whatever we can conceive, we can achieve. That's the power that we have. That's what the concept was. And she gave birth to a son, which is Haru, the spirit that's in me and you. And his goal in life was avenge the death of his father, who was slain by who? His uncle, aka Set, ego. She taught him how to defeat his ego. I'm teaching you how to conquer your ego, same way. After Haru reached adulthood, he ruled as king, on earth, and Asar journeyed to the underworld, where he stayed forever, where now he resigned as king. Some of the titles conferred upon Asar were Lord of the Eternity, Ruler of the Dead, and Lord of the Underworld, aka Afterlife. Emerges Asar in his new position as rulership and portrayed him as a mummified, bearded king who carries the shepherd's crook and flail and sits on his throne of judgment, which was originated with what? The checkerboard pattern, blaming black and white, good and evil. Question now, which one was good, which one was evil? The represented by what? Good and evil, where to come before him. You pass the feather test of Maya, now you get to stand before Asar. And Asar also becomes the representation of what? The deceased king, as well as all deceased individual spirits. He was commonly referred to, you ready, as the good shepherd. He the one that embraces you in the afterlife, and is the personification of the cycle of death and rebirth and of spiritual salvation. We want to go back to the Father. We are Haru. Our spirit lies with our Father in the afterlife. When this life is over, we're going to join him if we live what? A righteous life and pass the what? The way of the soul. Ding, 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 ding. I did all that to get to here. Now, let's get with the breaking down of the way of the soul. The significance behind it and the purpose. Beautiful lesson. This is what I love about this. The ritual of weighing of the heart. It says from 1 to 5, I'm break one down. The components of the scene I just showed you, the weighing of the soul, can be described as follows. Break it down. The first block, you see the two ladies and the man. The soul of the man, we use Ani in the other books. Okay, when my man moved, I love to ask me. The man to be judged stands between two figures of Mayat, called Mayate, Aset and Neftet. The one personification is the physical, that's the mortal law, and the other is represented by the moral virtue, the spiritual law. So they had two concepts, mortal and immortal. Aset represents immortality, Neftet represents mortality, physical. Okay. Now, number 2, you saw the heart on the scale with the soul of the deceased weighed on the left balance against the feather of the heart, which is on the right balance. Haru and Anubis, Ampu, oversee this delicate procedure, making sure the balance is correct. Make sure you get a fair shake at Judgment Day. They will make sure everything's on the up and up. And Mayat, represented by the scales herself. Okay? You see here at the top, that's also the baboons right here. That's Tahuti. He also stands here. Okay? He got 2 forms, but he's always recording information. He described, he keeps everything here. Your memory, he's your memory bank. Okay? Metaphorically. Now, number 3, speaking of Tahuti, Tahuti records the event in the Book of Judgment. The Book of Life, they call it, okay, he keeps track. And everybody has their own Book of Life. Keep right up here in the temple of their minds. That's where God dwells. Tahuti in your mind. Temple not built with human hands. All right. Number 4. I see the clock. I don't care at this point. The beast, which is Amet, is often described as the devourer of what? The unrighteous souls, the unjustified, and it awaits the verdict. If the scales come out, heart's on this side, feather on that side. If that heart is heavier than the feather, it goes down. She go to, it's a female too. She go to rah, rah. She about to get her eat on. And she was big, but she ate a lot of hearts. Okay? And what that means, if your heart gets eaten, your consciousness is gone forever. You can't resume. No, you can't come back. You're done. You had your shot, you blew it, that's it for you. Next man up, so to speak. And we get a fresh consciousness for every newborn body. The heart stays the same. Spirit carries the memory from prior lives until they get awakened and they go home. But until then, it's got to go through life like everybody. Just live and go through it until the person who the conscious wake up and recognize it. In the bar, your head comes part of the spirit. Now the spirit can go home. Why? It's conscious of itself. That was the concept. And now, number 4, we see the beast sitting there, squatting, waiting. In the other book, you see the scales is right there. She's sitting right there. That's her, right there. Okay? We getting down. We working on it. But this is a good story. I told it a few times. But the beast is often described as the devourer. It's made of 3 parts. 1 part alligator, or crocodile, 1 part lion, the other part hippo. The 3 are the baddest animals in the ancient time, all in one animal. They call it composite. Okay, unique. It's like Set the ego. They don't know what the hell he is, but they look at him. They call him the jackass, the donkey. Okay, and it sort of fits, but no, he's the bad guy. Moving on. Now the last part right here. Everybody wants to get to the throne, and if your heart lies a feather, the story goes, you go and sit on his lap and become one with him. Why? He's the ultimate spirit. And our spirit, I told you, is on loan. He wants it back. Okay? He sits on the throne and waiting for his spirits to come home. The story goes when Ra first lost his twins, Shu and Tufnut, into the ocean of the abyss, he sent the eye out. When the eye brought it back, he was so gratified, so happy that he cried, and tears was man. That was another story how man was created by the tears of God. All right? But Asar, you see, is seated upon the throne of judgment. He had to pass the scales of Maya. First one. So everybody after him have to go by the way he went. Get the concept? So, and we being his sons and daughters, we had to hold ourselves accountable to what? To pass just like our Father. defeat the evil uncle. He didn't. So all he can do is advise us on what not to do. What? Don't let the ego get you. Don't let your uncle Set get you. So you got to conquer him. That's the first thing about having self-knowledge and going to be self-mastery. The ego had to be under control. The Asar is sitting upon the throne of judgment, and he prepares to render his decision. Sometimes the balance is pretty much even, okay? But he's the decision maker. You got 42 judges. Everybody got something to say, but he's the ultimate decision maker, okay? He dictates yay or nay, bottom line. That's why you see the Roman gladiators, the emperor, when the guy in position of submission, this means spare his life, take his life. So your life was in his hands, so to speak. Literally, what turn of the thumb could spare you or kill you. That's too much power for one man to have over people. That's just not fair. And when a man got that kind of power, like numbness in the White House, just doing all kind of stuff. No, you really missed. But y'all put in there. He didn't have a clue about the Constitution, the job. He don't have a clue about that. He ego tripping. So again, we knew about these kind of people a long time ago. It's not new. Again, we the people, we put them in there. 77 million people put them in there. Now, that means we got more ignorant people than we do intelligent people. That's another lesson, but I talked about that too. But back to this one. And he's directly in front. It rendered his decision. And directly in front of him, Asar, standing upon the lotus flower, are the 4 children of Haru. He would be Asar. He's in the afterlife. I'm Haru. I'm his son. I got 3 grandsons. They would be represented by the lotus flower right here, his grandson. You feel me? 3 generations of what? Good, righteous people. I'm just saying, that's the concept. And that's the whole story about what? The weighing of the heart ritual. It's about you passing by what? Practicing living by Mayat, because that's what you judge by. The feather of Mayat, righteousness, the 7 virtues that she teach you about. And when you do those things, 42 confessions of Mayat, I got that coming up on deck. It's a little different. And it's all about the confession of what I have not. So after hearing the story about Asar, about it getting the wind in the heart, let me wrap it up with this right here. Asar's role as the judge of the souls in the afterlife and recently departed was a paramount importance. Why? Because his decision is the one to determine where or how your soul will spend the rest of eternity. Remember, once it goes there, that's forever. The heart of the deceased was believed to be the seat of where the soul, God, dwells, and it was weighed on the scale of the nature Mayat against her feather, which represents the 7 principles of truth, righteousness, and the other 5, reciprocity, order, justice. What's the other one? I can't think of it right now. But the scene of judgment is referred to as what we call the weighing of the soul. And each participant plays a critical role. Everybody had a role to play, right? And I showed you this one. I just showed you Kuna. We're about to get to that in 1 minute. I got a little more time left. Almost there. The person whose soul to be judged stands before Mayap and declares his or her innocence. I have not done iniquity. I have not robbed with violence. And you run down the list of 42 confessions of what you have not done. All right? The scale of Mayap was intended to be the natural Haru and Anubis, watching over. Anubis, who verify is accuracy. Why? On the left side of the balance is the vessel in which represented the heart. The ab is in the low vessel. The soul of deceased. And upon the right balance, of which the ostrich feather, which of Mayat is represented. And the principles, they represent the principle of truth, righteousness, reciprocity. This symbolic weighing of the heart against the feather of truth was performed to establish the righteousness of the deceased. Now, if the scales remain balanced after the recitation, your 42 declaration of what you have not done, 42 confessions of innocence, it was an indication that your soul was righteous and in deserving of what is heavenly reward in the afterlife. We live right in this life to guarantee us a ticket to the afterlife. Because after that, it ain't no more nothing. It's just chill. But in order to get there, you got to put the work in here. And it says just that. So the concept of one's heart being as light as a feather is derived from this ancient ritual. May your heart be light as a feather. May you something be light as a dove, all that nonsense. But we got it from right here. That's where we started again. Now the third one is the Necher Tahuti, often identified by his Greek name Thoth or Hermes. Okay, in Rome they call him Mercury. But in the principle associated with this science, he's the writing, the literature, of the divine speech. He created the Mezzanetta, to speak words of God. He's the author of that, Tahuti, which is represented by God's mind. Still God's words from his man Tahuti. And Tahuti's role was to what? Record the outcome of the weighing of the soul in the book of life. If you didn't pass, you wasn't going in the book. You didn't make the book. You didn't make the cut, so to speak. And in life, we all have competition. We all have things where some people are going to have to be cut off. Some people ain't going to make it. We all start out down here. Everybody ain't going to make it up there. It'd be a lot crowded if everybody's up there. So, no, they know the work you put in to get there. Everybody ain't going to do that. So those who only deserving to get there were the ones who put the work in to make it happen. Righteous living gets you to the afterlife. Living and doing right gets you to the afterlife. Number 4, all of this activity took place in the presence of Asar, who was seated on the throne of judgment and made the final decision, yea or nay, regarding the deceased hearts, passing judgment. And right here, I'm wrapping up with, I showed you the picture of Kun. Let me get a quick breakdown of him for my Christian followers who swear I didn't take nothing from Egyptians. Your idea of God taking man from dirt and clay and mold him and shape him and blowing life to him comes right here. Break it down. Kunum is one of the oldest Nechers in the Nile Valley. His name means to mold or to model. Kunum, he who fashions. I'm just saying, there's nothing to do with Christianity. Y'all wasn't even in the ballpark yet. He is often portrayed seated at the potter's wheel, and usually he have Tahuti behind him, notching up the years of life. Okay, another lesson, but this is the basic. I got it. I love my man. He did his thing. All right, I get a little more in depth with my man, my brother Ashley. But he's often portrayed seated at the potter's wheel, at the table. Before him stands two, the Ba and the Ka. Okay, I got a lesson for that coming up too. You got the shadows in your spirit and the shadow spirit. The car is the shadow. Okay. Now you got the human being whom he has just fashioned from clay. This story surfaces thousands of years later. Not a few years, not a couple years. Thousands of years later from the Christian concept in which Genesis, when he witnessed God molding Adam from clay. Original? No. The word Adam means what? Man from the earth. Okay, that's fine. What it means don't mean a damn thing. It ain't original. That's my point. That's my lesson. I see the clock ticking. I got more for you. You know I'll be right back. I keep it like that. I'm teaching now. I'm rolling. I like to just take my time, hopefully get information that's useful, that you understand and manifest for yourself. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all there to be 100 miles a day. So I never let my right thinkers who now got a better understanding of the way of the soul, hopefully, have passed away. Remember, if your heart lies that feather, you're good to go. If not, bye-bye.